Hello students, welcome to PhD Jobs and Admission. This is Gauri. So in this video, we are going to start the new topic, that is problem identification and formulation, and it is the unit 2 of our syllabus. So we are going to see basic MCQs and the most important top 10 MCQs on this topic, and as well we are going to see smart tricks while solving these MCQs, okay, and also the theory. So after viewing this video, all of your concepts will be solved. So please watch my video overall, okay, and whenever you will have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box, okay. So students, as we know that we have to give a PET PhD entrance exam, and it is held on 6 November, okay, and it has total 100 marks, and there are two sections, section A and section B. Section A is for research methodology and it is for 50 marks, okay, and each question carries 1 mark, and that's why we providing you complete course on research methodology, and in this all these 11 units are covered, okay, and in this we are also providing you full syllabus video lectures, okay, and in this theory and MCQs both are available. We are also providing you full syllabus notes, then mock test. We have 10 mock tests like this, and each mock test has 40 MCQs. So overall we have 400 MCQs, okay. We are also providing you more than 1500 MCQs revision PDF, and that's why you can revise all these things very easily, okay, and all these things are available in both the languages, that is Hindi and English, okay. So I'm going to give you 100% guarantee that because of this course you will secure passing marks in your examination, okay, and also it will helpful for you guys to tackle with the interview session. And to buy this course, you can download global online app. For that I have provided the link in the description box of this video, or else you can WhatsApp through these contact numbers, okay, and the course fee is only 699 rupees, okay. So students, let us start with our first question. So in this question, formulation of a research problem depends upon, okay, so we have given some statements, and from these statements we have to find out the statements on which formulation of research problem depends, okay. So first statement is, what is the objective behind the researcher's choice? Second is, what are the specific questions? Third is, what is the conceptual model? Fourth is, what negative factors to research upon, reasons for unlimiting the study, and last one is construction of hypothesis. We have seen in our earlier videos that research problem is a statement of question or difficulty, okay, and we have to find out the solution on that question or difficulty, okay. So whenever we are formulating a particular kind of a research problem, then it depends upon what is the objective behind the researcher's choice, okay. So a clear problem statement that can be easily define all of the objectives, so that will be helpful for effective research. So whenever we have a correct objective, okay, behind our research, then it will give us the effective research, okay. So it is most important thing, and since because what these objectives inform what we want to achieve through research, and it is extremely important to word them clearly and specifically, okay. So second is that it is depend upon what are the specific questions, okay. So through specific questions one can get idea of whether the research has provided all possible answers, okay. So because of this, we will get to know that whether our research provided us all possible answers. Then also it depends upon what is the conceptual model. Okay, so it means that it is a framework, and it is initially used in research to outline possible courses of action or to present idea or thought. Okay, so to presenting an idea or thought, it is very important that we are providing a conceptual framework, okay, before our research, okay. So this is most important thing, right? The next is that it depends upon construction of hypothesis. As we know that effective hypothesis should be clearly stated and it should be testable, okay, prediction of outcome. And what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is an argument that one variable will or will not change in response to another, and this argument is then tested or answered by conducting scientific investigation or further research, okay. So this is construction of hypothesis. So these four statements are like the statements on which formulation of research problem is depends upon. Okay, and the remaining statements like what negative factors to research upon or reasons for unlimiting study. Okay, so these are not related to formulation of research problem. Okay, so these are not related to formulation of research problem. So you guys tell me what should be the correct answer to this question. Obviously answer 3, A, B and C, F. Okay. Now students, in this question a good review of the research literature aims at. Okay, so what is the aim of good review of research literature? So what is the research literature or the review of literature? So it is the basic thing whenever we start a research problem. Okay, so it is the beginning thing, okay, before starting the research problem, and it is the summary. So what is it? It is the summary of research done by previous people, okay, on the topic which is the same as of our research topic, so current research topic. Okay, so this is the review of literature. So there are basic aims of it, and the first aim is that to increase the knowledge, okay, of the research problem. Okay, or behind the research problem we are going to increase our knowledge. Then second one is that identifying the research gaps. Okay, so we have to identify the research gaps whether they are there or not. Then raising the research question. Okay, so you are raising research question. Okay, then next is that you validate them, so you are validating the questions, right? Then next aim is that minimize probability of unintentional duplication of work. So whether it is the duplication of work, that is whether that kind of a work is duplicating or it is again and again doing by someone else. So we have to avoid the duplication of work, and it is the aim of what? Review of literature. And the next one is that evaluate promising research methodology. Okay, so whether our research methodology is good or not, so we have to evaluate that research methodology, right? So it is also one of the aim of review of literature. So let us see the options. Subjective analysis of the content. Second is providing information about the authors and their affiliations. Generating research questions and validating those questions. Conducts multiple task based screenings. So from these options, the third option, that is generating research questions and validating those questions, so it is our second aim, that is research gaps, raising the question and validate the questions. Okay, so it is the one of the aim of good review of research literature. Okay, so the correct answer is what? 3. Okay, now in this question, students, which of the following is not a source of history on the basis of availability? So here some sources of history has been given and they are asking you, okay, what is the source which is not, okay, on the basis of availability? Okay, so there are two types of sources of history. First is on the basis of availability, basis of availability, and the second is that basis of evidence. Okay, basis of evidence. So within basis of availability there are three types. First is archaeological, for example monuments. Okay, so as we all know that what are monuments, so these are come under archaeological. Okay, second is that literary sources. So as the name suggests, literary sources means what? It means that poems, novels, like this. Okay, poems, novels. Then third is that oral tradition. Okay, so oral tradition. So this type of source is most important or helpful for us to get information about what? Local history. Local history. And under basis of evidence there are two types. First is primary source and second is secondary source. Okay, so as we know that primary source is directly connected to the primary person and it is directly connected to the eyewitness, and secondary source is based upon the primary source. Okay, so let us see the options. First is oral traditions, second is archaeological sources, third is witness accounts, fourth is literary sources. So from these you guys only tell me, so what is the source which is not on the basis of availability? Obviously witness accounts, because it come under what? Basis of evidence. Okay, so whether it is primary source or secondary source, and all these remaining three are on the basis of availability. So the correct answer is 3. Okay, now in this question, students, which stage in research creates a working thesis, okay, for the research paper by specifying and organizing the category of information? So we have given some stages of the research and they are asking you from this stage which stage creates a working thesis. Okay, so it is helpful for us to creating a thesis for our research paper, and it will specify and organize the category of information as well. Okay, so let us see the options. First is research design. As we have seen in our earlier videos that research design is the conceptual framework, right, of our research, and before doing any kind of a research we have to outline the methodology of our research or outline the working summary. Okay, so this is the research design. Okay, and after organizing or creating the research problem we will go to the research design. Okay, second is what? Developing a hypothesis. As we know that hypothesis is a statement of prediction about the results of our problem, right? Third is review of the literature. As we have seen that review of literature means what? It is a particular kind of a summary, right? Okay, summary of research. What? Summary of research did by the previous people on the topic, on which topic we are doing the current research, right? And it is the beginning of our research. So after doing the research design you will go to the review of the literature. Okay, then next is analysis of data. So you are doing the data analysis. So here they are creating a working thesis, right? So for working thesis we need review of the literature. Okay, we don't need a research design, we don't need hypothesis, we don't need data analysis, right? So the correct answer to this question is what? 3. Okay, then next is that classification on the basis of income, production, weight is known as. So whenever we are doing classification of our data on the basis of income, production, weight, so that classification is called as. So options है geographical classification, quantitative classification, continuous classification, qualitative classification. Now you guys only tell me that what should be the answer to this question. Obviously quantitative classification, because income, production, weight, all these things we can quantify, we can measure them. Okay, so that's why they will come under what? Quantitative classification. Okay, what is geographical classification? It means that it will be related to the some area. Okay, for example country, for example any state or city. Okay, so that is called as geographical classification. Then continuous classification means what? It is the continuous or the series. For example, what is the temperature in a whole one day? Okay, so what is the height of a particular person? Okay, so that thing is increasing day by day, right? Okay, so this is the continuous classification. And the last one is qualitative classification. It means that the classification based on the quality of the data or the quality of the concepts, right? So that is qualitative classification, and thus the answer is what? Quantitative classification. Now in this question, students, Musthafa is doing research and help Musthafa to sort primary and secondary sources of information from the choices given below. So we have given these choices. First is questionnaire, second is experiment, and third is journal. And from these choices, we have to sort out the information which is primary and secondary. So first is that what is it is questionnaire. So questionnaire means what? Surveys. Okay, so it is what? It is the work conducted by a researcher itself, and it is doing in current situation or in person. So it is come under what? Primary sources. Okay. Second is experiment. So experiment is also done by a researcher itself in person in the laboratory, right? And it is the depends on the current situation. So whatever we are doing is the primary, right? So it is also primary source. Third is journal. Okay, so journal is a kind of thing which is done by many authors or researchers, okay, based on previous work and based on others work as well, and based on their own work. So it includes information used by the primary sources, and that means it is the secondary source. Okay, so let us see the options. First is 1 and 2 are primary sources, second is 1 and 3 are primary sources, third is all are secondary sources, only 2 is the primary source. So you guys only tell me that what should be the answer to this question. Obviously first, because here 1 and 2 are the primary sources, right? Not 1 and 3 primary sources, not all are secondary sources, not only 2 is the primary source. Okay. Now, next, an exhaustive and critical reading of the available literature on the research topic prior to its investigation is called as. Okay, so whenever you are doing exhaustive and critical reading of the available literature on the research topic prior to its investigation. Okay, so what we call it as. Okay, so whenever you are doing investigation, that means whenever you are doing research, so before that you do critical reading, that means a very analytical reading. Okay, so from depth reading, it means from depth reading. Okay, so reading of what? The available literature means what? Available theory on the research topic. So whatever research topic we are doing, so that kind of thing is what we called as. Okay, so first option is researching of literature, second is review of literature, then assessment of literature, classification of literature. Okay, so from these options you guys tell me what should be the answer to this question. Obviously the answer is what? Review of literature. So as we have seen that review of literature is a basic kind of a theory or the summary. Okay, summary of the research done by previous people on the same topic on which we are doing our research. Okay, so here they have given the definition of review of literature in different words, but the meaning is similar. So just think about the concept. Okay, so don't just learn anything, just go through the concept. So whenever an exhaustive and critical reading of the available literature on the research topic prior to its investigation is called as review of literature. Okay. Now, in this question, a literature review is characterized by all of the following except. Okay, so here they have given the characteristics of literature review, and we have to find out the one option which is not the characteristic of review of literature, because here except is given. Okay, so a literature of review is characterized by all of the following except. Okay, so first is summarize and report each article. So as we have seen that literature of review is the summary of the article, okay, which is have the topic which is similar to the topic on which we are doing research, but it does not report each article, it only summarize it. That means it is not the characteristic of the literature review. Next is use important topics as the organizational structure of the review. Okay, so whenever we are doing literature of review, so as it summarizes all the information that we want or which is helpful for our research, so it that's why it organizes all the important topics. Okay, and because of that it makes the organizational structure of the review. So it is one of the characteristic of literature review. Okay, then analyze all articles for similarities and differences related to major topics. So whenever we are finding out the summary on different previous works, and whenever we are doing that, we should analyze all the different articles, okay, different theories for similarities and differences related to major topics. Okay, so this is also one of the characteristic of it. The last is discuss implications relative to the research problem. Okay, so in this we are also discuss implications, okay, which is related to our current research problem. So this is also the characteristic of literature review. So from these options, the first option is the correct answer, because here they have given that literature review report each article, but it does not. Okay, so the correct answer is 1. Now next is, what is encyclopedia edited content called as? Okay, and the options are primary source, infinite source, continuous source, secondary source. Okay, so you guys answer me this question, because we have seen that the types of sources and what does it mean. Okay, so encyclopedia edited content is what? It is the edited content and it is based on what? Primary source, right? So it is not the original work or the original thing done by the researcher itself. This is the work done by other people than the primary person, than the primary source, right? Because it is encyclopedia, and as we know that many people write on it. Okay, so what should be it? Obviously it should be the secondary source. So the correct answer is 4, that is secondary source, right? Next is, a tertiary source of data is. So from these, what should be the tertiary data or the tertiary source of data? So what is the meaning of tertiary source of data? So tertiary source of data means that it is the data which is derived from both primary and secondary sources. Okay, primary and secondary sources, right? So let us see the options. First is films, hoardings and posters. Second is government gadget, newspapers and magazines. Third is information derived from both primary and secondary sources. Data collected from policy papers. Obviously, the correct answer is what? 3. That is it is the information which is derived from both primary and secondary sources. For example, bibliography of bibliographies. Okay, so this is the tertiary data, bibliography of bibliographies. Then another example is that guides to the literature. Okay, guides to the literature. So the correct answer is what? 3. Okay students, thank you for watching my this video. So if you have any doubts, then please ask me in the comment box, and stay tuned for my next video at 9 a.m. Okay.